This guest today is, someone I mentored in property and how to get started in rent to rent. He's going to be sharing his experience. He's going to be sharing how he's been running his business. He's going to be sharing, what he's been doing to kind of grow his portfolio, what he's been doing to manage his business during this COVID-19 and so on, So I'm going to be bringing Timi on here. I'm just going to quickly look for him, making sure he's live. Okay.
Yes. Well, like I said, I'm part-time property investors and I'm full-time working in the railway system as a trainer and instructor. I'm the CEO of New Dawn Property Buyers. Been in property now 2 years on, and currently doing rent to rent now.
Great. So you're a full-time trained instructor. You work with the transportation for London, yeah? And you're a full-time trained instructor. So how did you manage to get into property?
Well, my journey in property started back in 2016 when I first bought my first property. I bought property in Kent, in Orpington anyway, and then so it was a distressed property, and I took on a project to do up the property myself. Bought the property very reasonable price because we all know that Orpington is an affluent area, so property is quite expensive in the area. I was lucky to buy this property more or less like discounts, so I would say below market value. So I then took up the project, did the project for 6 months, and had value to the property. And then I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I want to take this on. I want to invest more in property. I want to be a property investor. So yes, and then I started looking for where to learn how to do the business, and I went to different property training, and then that was back in 2017, and fast forward to 2019, and I met you, Daniel, and one of the events. So that's how I got started anyway, from buying the property, looking for what I can learn from or education wise, and then yes, that's how I started anyway.
So you started in property by just actually wanting to own a house that you live in. And on the back of trying to own the house that you live in, you did a project, you found it interesting, and eventually you decided to get educated and you got started. And during the course of those times, we met in January 2019. So
that's correct.
So before we met in 2019, you was already doing property training, or you was already educating yourself, or you were already doing property, just to clarify?
Yes, well, when we met 2019, I was just learning how to do property. I've not actually started it yet. So I've done quite a few training. I think my first training was with Legacy Education. I joined with Legacy Education, if any one of you remember them. So that was with Robert Kiyosaki team, and Martin's robot, I believe so. So anyway, I've done my training with them, and also did a training with Wealth Dragon. So they are somewhere in London as well. So and with few events as well. So I wasn't into property yet. I was just learning. I was in the learning process that period.
Wow. That's good. It's good. Education is key. I think this position you've left your camera is a bit better now. Just keep it this way because we can hear, I can see you more a bit clearer now, and I can hear you a bit better. So guys, if you're hearing Timi and his video is a bit clearer, please just give us a thumbs up. Okay. So you literally, you started your property, you do your train driving, you decided to invest in property, you went into Legacy Education and Wealth Dragon. And on the back of that, you got started, you found your first deal, or what happened? Did you find did you get on any deal? Did you manage to do any property transaction while you was in this education?
Well, when I did my training with Legacy Education, because what you have to understand is that, a lot of these trainers out there, when you go for a training, this is what people don't know. You go in with a very naive mind. You don't know what you're going to get. So what you're craving for education. You want to learn, you know. So whatever they tell you, you just buy, you grab it, you know. And then they were telling us, oh, if you want to do property, you can actually just pick property like that, like this, but it doesn't work that way. You need to work for it. You need to know your strategy. You need to know what you want to do, you know. But anyway, when I got into the training, they said a lot of things, a lot of things. So, you know, and then I, you know, paid for this training, which is normal. And then after the old training, I realized that I wasn't getting what I was looking for. I was still more or less left behind to go on, you know, just strive, you know, in the middle of the jungle. So, you know, and that's when I said, you know what, I need a new way, a new how from all this, you know, unnecessary training.
Great, great, great. Well, that's interesting. The thing is, everybody has the good side and the bad side, the good take and the bad take in any type of property training or whatever the case might be. I'm quite fortunate. When I started again, just like yourself, 3 years ago, and obviously met my, you know, went through coaching, mentoring process and everything, and my journey started. And today, you know, I am in a position whereby I also now in a position where I mentor and I coach people, and people come through to my my training program, which is the rent to rent. I mean, one of the things is when people get into properties, you know, obviously coming from the conversations we've had over the past, one of the key things is when people get started in property, you know, they seem to want to do all strategies. That is, I think for me, that is where the biggest problem is. Everyone seems to want to do a bit of rent to HMO, a bit of rent to service accommodation, a bit of sourcing, a bit of buy-to-let, land development, and you can hear all this so much amazing strategy. And people just get thrown into it and thinking, you know what, I can do this, not actually focusing on one. And again, for me, for you, I think that was one of the issues, wasn't it? You know, trying to do everything.
That's correct, Daniel. That's correct. Especially in this day and age now, there are so many people out there that they will tell you, if you come to me, I'll teach you how to do this, how to do that. But I found out that it's not true many of the time, you know, because, you know, the moment you sign up to whatever they want to give you, and then after a few months or a few weeks, you don't hear from them anymore, and then you're just left on your own. So, and a lot of people have gone this route. A lot of people have taken that steps, and in the end, they get frustrated, and you know. But until you find the right person, until you find someone that genuinely they want to help you, genuinely they want to see you succeed, that genuinely they want to make sure that you know you're doing well, you know. Until then, you're on your own. You're just still going to be going around the circle. It's like a rat race. You know, Great. If you remember about Kiyosaki, there's a rat race. You're still going around the circle, and you're not happy.
Great. So that brings me to my next question. So you've been through all these big boys training you. You've been to all these gurus and these bigger gurus, and then you met me. So how did you then make up your mind, having spent so much money in property education, and then decide to pay me as well to mentor you then?
Oh, well, to be honest, and if I have to go back, this is very interesting. You know, I think you're taking me back to a memory lane now, you know. So, well, I remember when I met you, what happened then was, you know, it was early of the year. I remember 2019.
Yeah, I was one of the speakers at the Property Pillars.
Yes. So we met at the event, and what I find interesting about you was the passion, you know, and the energy you're putting into, you know, your speech and what you're actually giving out. You know, I saw a young man that was telling us about his story, how he started off with nothing, and he did so many businesses, and you know, he was in Nigeria for some times, and he had to come back to London and start all over again. And when he came back, you know, your life story is just so. It's like when you're giving that story, I see myself that wow, we actually have a lot in common. You know, I've done a lot of businesses as well. You know, I've done so many things in the past, and also now that you're actually doing the property and you can actually be bold enough to say, guys, I'm doing well, you know, I'm okay, I'm financially free, this or that. And that's what actually brought me to you.
Obviously, I think you met me and then we got started. So now, you know, how has rent to rent All right. You know, obviously you wanted to do below market value. You wanted to do a little bit of this, a little bit of buy to let. Then you met me, and I showed you and mentored you how to get started in rent to rent. So, what you want to say to rent to rent? What do you want to say about rent to rent? Sorry, I think that's right. What do you want to say about rent to rent? You know, how's it impacted you and your business?
All right. So I'm going to break it down. First thing first, guys. So for those of you that you're new to rent, you know, because I've been in this game, you know, like I said, going to 3 years now anyway, and I've tried strategy. I'll break it down. We have, in property, we have different strategy, yeah? And the work Daniel is currently doing is rent to rent. We have what we call, if you want to do buy to let, we have rent to rent, we have service accommodation, and we have BRR, buy, reform, and refinance. So, but the one I choose to go with is the one you're doing, Daniel. So, which is rent to rent HMO. So, rent to rent HMO is when you take a property, either from a landlord or from an agent. So, and you are now subletting the property. In a simple word, you're subletting it to, you know, sharers. It could be 4, 5, 6 people living together, unrelated people. So you're not renting a room per room to those people, and then you're also making profit. You're paying the landlord a guarantee rent, the agent guarantee rents, and you, as the property manager, you also have your own profit from what you're making from this property. It's as simple as that, but it's very difficult. It may sound simple. It may sound you're renting a property from a landlord or from an agent, and you're renting it how you're making profit. It's so simple, but the back work, what you have to do to get there, is a lot of work. So, can you guys hear me? Are you hearing me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, you know, in a nutshell, rent to rent is taking a property from a landlord or from an agent, and you're subletting it with the landlord permission into, you know, HMO, housing for multiple occupations. And then the profit you make is yours, all right? So like I said, it sounds simple in a word, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and which myself and Daniel will be going into in a few minutes' time.
Great. So it was quite a journey for you. So for you, how was your journey? So how quickly, when you got started in this strategy, how did you find it? How was it easy for you to take on your deal? So for example, I mentored you for at least about 6 months, but within the first 3 months, you managed to secure a deal. How did you find the rejection process? Was it very straightforward for you? Did you go through the no's? Did you get no, we don't want to do it, we don't want to do it, or you just found the deal the first day? How did you find your first deal?
Well, to be honest with you, you know, when I first started my rent-to-rent training, at first I was a bit worried because it's a different strategy that I'm not quite used to. But because I'm with someone that's already doing it, I'm with someone that is telling me that, look, you can do this. You know, remember when I first, when I wanted to sign up with you, I was really worried that I don't know if I would, I don't know if this guy would deliver.
If I would deliver.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, but obviously you convinced me enough, you know, to say, look, guy, if you don't do it, if you don't jump into it, you will not get it. You will not make it there. So anyway, that was my first obstacle. That was my first trial, my first test, and I passed it. You know, excellent. So I started with you the first 3 months. You know, I remember meeting you up. We started talking about this program, the step-by-step, registering my complaint, talking to agent, sending me letters, all the process. I'm not going to give too much out anyway, but, you know, so if anyone of you want to know more, then you need to do the right thing. Anyway, we started from that. So, and then my first deal, I remember the day where we're going to, you know, get this deal closed. You called me up and you said, Timi, you know, where are you? I said, oh, you know, I'm somewhere very far. I'm in Kent. I'm in Nashville. They say, listen, there's a deal coming up. Are you ready to come and view with me? It's like, wow, okay. Well, because you're the kind of guy that you know, obviously, you know, I look up to you. You're my trainer. Then I said, wow, you know, why not? Let me come. So we went for this viewing, and lo and behold, the viewing happened to be a deal I'm running today. You know, so you know, from the time I met you and to the time I got the deal, it was a very short period of time. So it wasn't too long or too far away. But I would say it was a dedication, it was a commitment, it was a seriousness, and the hunger to succeed that made us, get to that point.
Wow. So on that property, obviously, because I know about the property and I know every single thing about that property. So a property that you currently do not own. And how much does that property currently make you? What is your net cash flow every single month?
That property is a suite property. On a monthly cash flow, I cleared £900.
£900 for a property you do not own.
Yeah, yeah. And
you've never had any sort of voids except lately during this crisis when one of your tenants moved out?
No. They have not, from the time I actually, the funny enough, the day I picked my key was the same day I got all the tenants in.
So I preach about, I always talk about the no money down master. I sometimes, guys, permit me to brag on this a little bit, yeah? I kind of brag on it a little bit. I'm a no money down master. So I managed to secure that deal as a no money down, correct?
That's right. No money down, yes.
Did we manage to use the letting agents? Obviously, we managed to use the letting agents to do the viewings. And what happened? Tell people watching that.
Well, it's definitely no money down deal because when we picked the deal, we actually I think the landlord was doing some work in the property. He was trying to renovate the property, change the bathroom, the kitchen, and also all the furniture. The landlord actually bought the furniture from IKEA, and then brand new, more or less like a brand new property when I picked her up. So during that period that the landlord was doing the job, so we spoke to the agents that at least we should give us an access, like to give us to let us come into the property to do viewings, and the agent happens to at least cooperate. We managed to be doing viewing.
Before he cooperated, though, it wasn't very straightforward to agree to give us access, was it?
Yes, no, it wasn't. I remember on 2 occasions. He said, "Oh no, I can't do this. This is difficult. So
then what happened? I jumped on the call, didn't I? And then closed there. And
yeah. Of course, I remember you spoke to him, and then you spoke to him. And he says, "Okay, all right, I'll let you do this." And in fact, he actually did the viewing for us. You remember?
Yep.
The guy actually did the viewing. The agent actually did one of the viewings where he went there. And he actually opened the door for the tenant to come in and check the property. I think on 2 occasions he did that. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and then it comes from that comes from the back of building the right relationship. All right. Because in my teachings, one of the things I always say is about building trust, building relationship. Again, be very confident. Listen, agents they're human beings like us. I think a lot of people starting the rent-to-rent strategy. One of the things that does happen is people get a bit nervous, thinking, what am I going to say? How am I going to say? Just say it. The worst that's going to happen, the letting agents will tell you no. If they tell you no, see you later. A few days later, go back again to that letting agent and make them used to you. Find out why they said no the first time. And on the back of that, we managed to penetrate. And at the end of the day, we managed to do multiple viewings. And the day you signed the contract, we had how many people view the property and how many people paid upfront on that day?
So that property, we managed to do viewing, and we had how many rooms was it? 5. We had 4 people coming that day to do viewings, and then 3 girls and 1 guy. I remember their names. And then when they came to the property, walked in, and because the property was in a very good condition, like brand new, more or less. And the guy said, the old tenant just said, we're definitely taking this. We're taking it. I was like, wow. And I remember that day, you came in, and then, obviously I had to watch how you speak to tenants, and how you can at least show them things and the terms and conditions and the obligations, the process of, referencing, and then, so you were actually talking to them, and I was just there listening, and then, also showing them the rooms, trying to make sure that we conduct the viewings in a more appropriate way. We did that, and then it went well. And then the same day, the old 4 tenants said they're taking it. and that was it. We managed to secure tenants for their property.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, 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 great. So now, how have you been managing? Obviously, because of time, where Instagram will cut us out in a few, not about maybe the next 20 minutes now. So how have you? Obviously, we've talked through your first deal, all right, and from there you went on to securing your second deal, which you used as a service accommodation, and the third deal you're currently working on at the moment. You're currently working on your third deal, and you managed. Obviously, you've been talking to me and I've been giving you a lot of tips and a lot of nuggets, and you just secured again another no money down deal during this COVID-19 lockdown. Do you want to share? Do you want to share how creative that was to secure a deal, during this lockdown with no money down deal for the next how many months?
Well, for the next 2 years, actually. Well, to be honest, Daniel, what I find most here in my journey, my property journey, is who you surround yourself with. If you're a lion and you surround yourself with goats, you become a goat. But if you're a goat and you surround yourself with a lion, you become a lion. It's just who you surround yourself with. And for anyone listening to us here, if you want to go far in life, check who is around you. Check who you mingle yourself with, who you see yourself with. Right now, like I said, I've learned a lot from you, and I've been out there with so many people as well, joined different events, network as well, to learn, because this property business is about learning yourself. You learn every day. You invested a lot in yourself, in education, in training, in coaching, and then so you've done a lot, So that's the process I'm in right now myself. I'm making sure that I surround myself with you. Many of the time I call you and I speak to you, and then the deal I'm currently doing, even now as we're talking, the landlord is just calling me, but I'm not going to pick up. So the deal I'm currently holding on is because of the process I've found myself doing a deal with you, taking up another service accommodation. And this deal, I managed to secure it 2 years with no money down. And what I've done so far and over the years is building my credit, breeding myself, my reputation. It goes a long way. So I think you told me to join NLA actually. So I joined NLA and I've attended a lot of meetings with NLA. So one of the guy I met at the NLA training is an HMO officer. He works with one of the council. I'm not going to mention the name. He works with one of the council. And along the way, we build a good relationship together. And then because he worked with the council, he comes across a lot of landlords. He just called me up just about 2 weeks ago. He said, Timi, I've got a landlord that's struggling right now with our property. And then would you take on this property and manage it? He said to me, look, I know you're a nice guy. You have a good reputation out there. You know what you're doing. Because I've been to NLA training, I've been to HMO training, so I know my stuff. And then I said, why not? I would take on the deal. So he gave me the number of the landlord. I spoke to the landlord. I told the landlord how we're going to help her. And then to cut a long story short, so we met up. We met up at the property, look at the property. I realized that the property needs some works doing. And also I'm in a position to help her because I know my stuff. The whole setting, the guy managing the property before didn't do the setting properly. This whole setting was so bad, so the rent, the way he set it up with the tenants, management was so bad. But because I've learned a lot, and I'm with people that can also help me anyway in my own journey. So I said to her, look, I'm going to assure you one thing. Your property will be back to normal. We're going to manage it well. You get your guarantee rents, and also we do inspection once in a month. We come to the property, do an inspection, make sure the tenants are well referenced so that, I position myself in a way that she can trust me with her property. In fact, she actually trusted me so well with her home. With her home property where she lives, because she's got a lot of work needs to be done in the property. Wow. So those are the way you position yourself as someone that can help. You position yourself as property investors, as someone that knows what they're doing. You've learned the whole game. You know your stuff. So that's how I've been able to secure deals by positioning yourself in a way that landlord or agent can trust you. They can work with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that a lot because the thing is, some people might be able to take this, some people can be able to take whatever they've learned and they can go out and quickly accelerate very, very, very quickly. Some people can start and be there and not actually take action. It's all about taking action. Again, like you said, it's all about surrounding yourself very, very effectively. So you've been my mentee. You was my mentee for a good 6 months. And again, it was actually on my gold package where there was a lot of one-to-one and there was a lot of hand-holding. And actually, past mentorship, now we're friends, you know, from being a mentor, from being, you know, showing what to do. We're now actually very, very close friends. We literally met not knowing each other just a year ago. And now we're, you know, you're now in a place where in your journey, you've got three deals, you know, three fantastic deals. And I'm super, super happy for you. So how has COVID-19, this lockdown, how has it impacted your business?
Well, the COVID-19, to be honest, there's a bit of slowdown in tenant moving in. I had 2 rooms, voids, actually, just coming up to the COVID, around March or ending of March. One of my tenants, he was so scared anyway. He just came into the country. You know, I gave him the place to stay, and then he was so scared he needed to move out. So I said to him, okay, you know, you can move out, because he was not sure whether he'll be able to get to work and things like that, because there are going to be a lot of lockdowns. So anyway, I let him out, and there's another guy that moved out because he's been making a trouble in the house. Anyway, I had 2 rooms empty in that period, and then, you know, because of the whole COVID-19, the whole thing has kind of slowed down. So, but I've managed to actually, you know, put the property back on the market and then advertise it. Though what I've tried to do, you know, is to sort of lower the rent, you know, because obviously I know that, you know, it's hard right now for anyone to come and do viewings, you know. So I'll kind of lower the rent a bit so that I can get the property occupied. So I'll lower the rent, took some, you know, money off the rent, and I was able to actually get I managed to get 4 tenants, you know, 4 tenants to do viewings. So I did a viewing for 4 tenants in a day, and I was able to get 2 tenants out of the 4 to take the 2 rooms empty. So one of the tenants, I'm actually going to be checking him to later on today or tomorrow, you know, and then let him take 1 room. And the other room has been taken as well by a lady. So which is right now my property is occupied now, no void, no nothing. Okay. So again, that's the way I've been able to go around it.
Yeah, so I mean, that must be very scary for you to have 2 rooms empty just around when the lockdown took effect. So the lockdown, I think we got the lockdown around the 23rd, if I'm correct with dates. On that Monday, the Prime Minister announced lockdown, stay at home, stay safe. And just knowing that you have those 2 rooms empty, which was obviously, because I know your deal, your cheapest room was around 675, 685, and the other room was about 765 pounds, if I'm correct on the top of my head. So having those 2 rooms empty in a household of 5, you know, you must have panicked, you know, not knowing how you're going to pay your 1st of April rent. You know, should the lockdown not be eased, or should there not be any sort of creative ways around you doing viewings? You know, and April came in the 1st, your rent wasn't paid, and May came in again the 1st. How did you manage that anxiety, or how did you manage those sort of
to be honest with you, Daniel, the way I've managed to do it is about the setup, the strategy you apply in your business. Remember when we're doing the calculations, the visibility for the rooms, what we try to do is that the due diligence, what we tried to do that period was that if you have 5 rooms in your property, at least 3 of the rooms have to pay for the rent,
the cost.
Yes, for the cost. So, and 1 room should be the one to cover maybe any bills or whatever, and the other room should be the one to be a profit. And that's the way I've been able to overcome the fear, because I know that there are 3 tenants in my property, and then the rents collectively from the 3 rooms giving me will cover my rent, and I will cover some of the bills. So that was the way I've been able to at least, as in, go over the whole, you know, worries and that situation.
Wow.
And then, so God may have it, the last rent I was able to pay it without no worries. And this month as well, I just paid the rent to the landlord, I think, today actually, on the 5th. So, well, Yeah, I just paid the landlord today actually. So which I and once my other tenant pay me my rent tomorrow, then I know that that would come as a profit because I've been able to, work it out from the beginning. It's all about the foundation. It's all about the numbers you put in when you're doing your deals. It's all about the due diligence. Make sure that you know your number. The numbers stack up from the moment you take it the deal. Look at the rent, look at the cost, put it down on the visibility calculations, and make sure that it all stack up. Because if they don't stack up, you will get yourself to blame.
Great, great, great. So that's a good way. So that's a good way to obviously analyze, because you obviously went into that deep. So for myself, I currently have I've got over 50 rooms in my portfolio, and obviously just past the lockdown. Before the lockdown, I had just finished a 6-bedroom ensuite, a house, and I also have another 5 rooms somewhere else. And a month before that time, one of my tenants obviously also moved out. So going through this period, obviously, give or take, if I bring every single thing together, I think I currently had about just under about 10 to 11 rooms that kind of was empty. But again, what we've done was to kind of, use video recordings and use creating YouTube channels for the rooms. At that time, we couldn't get what's it called again? The virtual tour. So what I've literally done on the back of this COVID-19, I managed to reduce those numbers because I consistently did viewing in using specific ways. And just yesterday, I rented out 2 rooms. And in the last 10 days, to be honest, I've now rented over I think over the last 10 days, we've done over 4 rooms being rented, past tenancy reference, past checks, and all of that. So again, it's how you can obviously create ways. What we usually did for us was, if a tenant made they made an inquiry, they liked the room on Spare Room, Open Rent, or Facebook Marketplace. What we do is they like the picture, we send them a video, they like the video, they come back, they pay the actual holding deposit, which is a 1-week holding deposit. They pay that money. And on the back of that, if they now say, you know what, because most tenants will say, I need to view the property. I need to see it with my eyes. So what we usually would do is, okay, now that you've paid the holder deposit, you've seen the video, and obviously with specific systems that we use, for example, giving them certain type of access to kind of go into that property. But the good thing was, my property I was doing was empty properties. These are properties that was completely empty. So it's different from yours. But for yours, you had a situation whereby some of your tenants wouldn't let you do a viewing because they just didn't want you to do viewing. So how did you manage to deal with that?
Well, actually, one of my tenants, she's actually high risk, to the whole COVID-19. So, she's high risk. So, and then, so when I actually told them that I'll be doing viewing, she literally just said, no, sorry. And the government said nobody should come around, everybody should stay in their house. I felt a bit threatened, actually. I felt a bit threatened. Okay, are you threatening me now?
Well, then she started having barbecues and inviting friends, and she said she was high risk. Can you imagine?
Yes. So, because what I've done so far is that, I'm a very kind of diplomatic guy anyway. I kind of build good relationship with people. So one of the tenants that were cool anyway, and when I said to her, sorry, I won't be able to come to the house, she said, why? I said, because this tenant said they are high risk. And then, they can't really leave their room. I said, no, that's not true. This tenant just had a barbecue with some other friends, So anyway, what I did was that I tried to use, I just said, you know what? I'm actually going to call her. I spoke to her. I called her. I said, listen, I understand the government said we should all keep our social distancing and follow the guidelines. But if you know that you have some high risks or whatever, I would advise you to stay in your room. And because I have a tenant that will be coming to view, but the viewing will only be for 10 minutes, just quick in and out. And then, and I gave her the time I'll be coming. So anyways, I managed to do that. And she said, that's fine. So, and I managed to, I took 2 tenants there. We did viewings. And then the 2 tenants were happy to take the rooms. So and then, I think it's just, you have to find a way to work with tenants. Some of them will be difficult, some of them will be okay. You need to find a common ground to work with them and to, to just make them understand that we want to follow the law, we want to follow the procedure, but the government did not say you cannot do your business, but they're just looking for people that will obey the law, obey the guidelines. Even at work, I'm a trained driver instructor. I instruct people how to drive train. It's the same similar rules we follow. And then at work, you know, we're still running train, we're still driving train. You know, people are still getting on train to go to the hospitals or places like that. All what we try to do is to keep our distance is 2 meters apart, 2 meters. And if you can't keep to the guideline of 2 meters, make sure you wear gloves or masks to protect yourself.
And
you know, I mean,
wash your hands, sanitize and stuff.
Exactly, sanitize. I have sanitizer with me all the time. Even when I went for the viewings, I had some gloves with me, the masks, and even some of the tenants actually came with their own masks as well. So that's the way we've been able to do it and make sure that, you know, nobody come into contact with you, because we still have to do business, we still have to do viewings, we still have to keep the property going. So, you know, anyway, you know, that's the way I managed to do my viewings and managed to get the property occupied straight off.
Great. Thank you so much, Timi, for all the, you know, obviously sharing and insights in your personal business. You didn't have to share it, but I'm hoping that a lot of people can pick up a few tips how people have been actually real life case scenario of how people have been dealing with challenges in their rent-to-rent business. Because with your rent-to-rent business, it's not very, you have a responsibility and liability to pay the landlord's rent, and not a lot of landlords was accepting the rent holiday or the deferred rent and so on. So again, it's all just depends on obviously how everyone can actually manage a situation. It's all about managing situation, because one of the things was when all these different government scheme got launched, people was just thinking, you know, well, oh, now the mortgage is going to be free. Oh, now the water bill is going to be free. Now that's going to be free. No, the actual truth is, how can you manage it? Because it's going to be waiting for you in front. So guys, at this point in time, we're going to be wrapping up in 3 minutes before Instagram calls out. Guys, if this has been a lot of great value, obviously this is real from the heart, and this is raw information from, you know, day-to-day management, the story of a song, you know, of Timi, how he's dealt with his business. You can ask him any quick question before Instagram cuts us off, and also give us a lot of likes, a lot of hearts. Give us some love. You know. So Timi, for anyone right now who is looking to start the rent-to-rent strategy, what words in literally 60 seconds? What word have you got to say? If anyone wants to start in the rent-to-rent strategy right now, what do you think? What you've got to say?
All right, guys, listen to me, because I've been there myself, and you know, I was there, you know, maybe 2 years ago. If you want to start this business, all right, because we all want to make money, we want to do well in life, you need to look for someone that can actually hold you hand to hand, grab your hand, and take you to where you can get deals, take you to where you can actually, you know, speak to agents, speak to tenants, someone that can show you the way, not someone that will tell you, oh, you know, yeah, they're just going to be speaking to you on the phone. You need to look for a mentor, a coach, you know. So that's what you need to be looking for. You know, go for the right education, go for the right training, and also the people that are out there, you know, mingle with a network. Your network is your networks. You know, because many people are looking for free education, they're looking for free things. It's good to look for free, but at the same time, you still need to pay for it, because these people, myself now, if you're going to come to me now to come and be training you, my time is expensive, to be honest, because right now I've got my own family, I've got a full-time job, I've got property I'm doing on the side, so I'm not really going to be telling you, okay, I'm going to give you my education. No way, it's not going to happen.
You paid the price. You paid me good money to be on my gold mentorship.
Exactly. You know, and I'm still paying. And I'm still paying you anyway, because we have a JV together where you think. So what I'm going to say to you guys is that go hard there.
So in your final words, so I'm just going to quickly pick one question. It says, is rent-to-rent oversaturated? The answer is yes and no. Depends on where you're looking at. Okay? Is any type of business saturated? The answer is yes or no. Depends on how you're looking. Stop worrying about the oversaturation and creating a brand for yourself. That's what matters. When I started rent-to-rent, I was told rent-to-rent was already oversaturated. So guys, just get out and do it. Forget about this situation. That's why you have due diligence, okay? So before Instagram cuts us out here, Timi, in final words, what can you say and what can you recommend about the Daniel Moses rent-to-rent training? Would you recommend it?
Of course, Daniel. I always recommend it because you're the type of guy that you've got the energy, you've got the passion, you're so committed to what you do. So anyone that wants to really learn, I'll recommend that you come to Daniel, speak to Daniel, see what you can do and how he can help you out in this business, because there are so many tigers and lions out there. If you jump into their mouths, they will bite you badly. So come to the right person and they will help you out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Timi, for this great interview and for, again, taking out your time to come and share your wealth of knowledge you've acquired over the last few years in property, especially, obviously, joining my mentorship program over a year ago. And I'm super blessed to have been given the opportunity to mentor you and also now seeing your business go to the next level. I mean, it's just super amazing. Now, within 1 year, you now have about 3 properties in your portfolio. So it's really, really super amazing. Congratulations on your new deal.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
People has been scared about how do you take property? How do you get started? You have just taken a property, no money down for the next couple of months, and it's a 2-year deal. So again, it's super, super awesome. So again, thank you so much, Timi, for joining us. And thank you so much, my audience and who have been following. So guys, I'm just going to make a really, really crazy offer right now because I can see so much commitments, for people who's been watching me. So basically, I can see Vericious Fashion and Vericious Limited. You have been watching. I will DM me. I'm going to have a 1-hour free consultation with you about the rent-to-rent strategy. 1-hour consultation call. DM me your telephone number. I'm going to call you. So guys, for anyone looking to start the rent-to-rent strategy, if I keep watching my screen and I see your commitment, I'm going to be offering a 1-hour free coaching session where I will just give you a simple roadmap on how to get started the rent-to-rent strategy. All right. So guys, thank you so much. Please share. So tomorrow I'm going to be having a business owner, an entrepreneur, again, one of my attendees who's been to one of my trainings, one of the 2 days bootcamp, Richie, is going to be sharing his wealth of business ideas, what he's done in the past. Again, he's got multiple businesses. He's going to be sharing a lot of, light on what he does, his real case scenario, life case scenario of property and so on. So please tune in. We're back again at 6 o'clock. To 7 o'clock, and I will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much, Timi, for tonight.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Fantastic. Cheers.